Hi everyone, this is Bas. I'm leading the customer solution practice at Coherent, and today I want to present you Coherent Control, and more specifically use case around the financial reporting and how do we bring governance, auditability, and approval workflows into your Excel-based financial processes. So let's go. So first, let's understand what the challenge is and the control gap around spreadsheet is. So as we know, finance team really heavily still rely on Excel for financial reporting. And these processes are often entirely spreadsheet driven with critical logic embedded. The challenge is that review and evidence collection are typically very manual still. There is no structure approval routing based on financial impact. So changes are not automatically escalated and reviewers often lack visibility into what actually changed into the spreadsheet. So this leads to limited auditability, and it becomes very difficult to understand who modified the inputs, what outputs has changed, and who ultimately approved the changes. As a result, organizations struggle to demonstrate control, governance, and auditability across all financial reporting changes. And this is where Coherent Control comes in. Okay, so here we have a typical financial close workbook used by the finance teams. So the base financial data is imported into the workbook and all the calculations are logged. So user only interact with control input areas such as the manual adjustment table. And this is where the finance users enter close adjustment, reclassifications, or corrections. In this simple workbook, we also define the materiality thresholds, which represents the level at which changes requires escalation. Total adjustments are aggregated and compared against the materiality threshold. And these drive a materiality flag, which determines whether the change is within thresholds or if it requires a review. Now, we're tagging key outputs such as net income, total adjustments, and the materiality flag. These outputs will be surfaced directly into the Coherent Control platform. And from there, in the Coherent Assistant, the Excel add-in, you can see all referenced input and output in the Excel. So now the user can submit the workbook directly from Excel and will be recorded into the Coherent Control platform. And that's it. You've now submitted your workbook for review and approval. So now let's go and review the Coherent Control platform. So first, on this screen, we need to define the approval process. So in our example, the routing is driven by the materiality flag that is coming from Excel. Below a certain threshold, it goes into a standard finance review, and above a threshold, it escalates to senior approvers here. So this will ensure segregation of the duties and a controlled financial approvals. As soon as the workbook is submitted from Excel, every submission appears in the control dashboard. So you can see here all pending submissions, approved items, rejected items, and the full submission history. So this provides a centralized governance for spreadsheets-driven processes. So reviewers can here approve and reject directly. They can add comments, and they can also open the Excel at any time to retrieve all the submission details. Everything is captured automatically. Every single action is logged, such as who submitted, what inputs has changed, who approved or rejected, and we have a full timestamps for every single activities as well. So this creates a complete audit trail. That's it for today. Thank you very much. So if you like what you've seen, we can also give you a full end-to-end demo.